Last week I tried to create a surrealist photograph using cyanotype printing. And although I do like the pieces of the print on their own, I'm not quite happy with the compositing of the foreground elements onto the background. So this week I'll try a more advanced way of compositing. I'll try to use masks and cyanotype printing. And that way I'll be able to achieve a better sense of separation between my elements. Now, if you're just getting into cyanotype printing, my video about the basics in the info card. But let's get started with using masks. The easiest way to understand how a mask works is by using one. For that, you only need 3 things: your background, your subject, and some paper. If you have all those things, the rest is gonna be easy. You start by cutting out a positive and a negative mask from your paper. In this example, I'm going to use this negative of a hand and a negative of the moon as our subjects. I used an X-Acto knife to cut out the hand and moon from some paper, giving me 4 masks, 2 positive, 2 negative. So let me show you how I place them on the coated paper. I start by placing my background elements. In this case, I'm going to use these leaves. After that, I'm going to place the positive masks onto the paper. And that way, the paper won't get exposed in the areas where I later want to have my foreground. After arranging everything to my liking, now it's time for the first exposure. As always, you could use the sun, but I'm going to use my little box here. After my first exposure, I now remove everything I placed on the paper before. As you can see, the paper has been very lightly exposed even under the areas covered by the mask. Even though this isn't visible in the final print, next time I'm going to use thicker paper or cardboard just to be sure. I continue by placing my subjects onto the coated paper. I'm going to cover the background with the negative masks I cut out before. Any excess space that isn't covered by those masks I cover with scraps of paper. Make sure the background is covered completely, otherwise it won't be visible in the final print. Now it's time for the second exposure. Try to get the same amount of UV light onto the subjects as onto the background. This will ensure equal colors between them. After the exposure, you can develop the paper like a standard cyanotype print. And here we have our final print. As you can see, the alignment of the masks wasn't perfect. Next time, I'm probably gonna use sticky tape to keep them in place. But nonetheless, I think you can see that there's definitely a greater sense of separation between our elements. This can be seen especially if you look at a comparison between a print that has been done without masks and a print that's been done with masks. Although I need to say that in this particular case, I do like the one without using masks more. Other than that, I hope that you enjoyed this short video and maybe found something interesting or inspiring. If you want to see more of those weekly videos, maybe consider subscribing. Until then, see you next week.